Hey guys, it's Polly here. So I've been getting a lot of requests to do video reviews in addition to my written reviews on Reddit, so I thought today would be a good day to start. I'm looking at the Bowers and Wilkins 607 bookshelf speakers. These are the cheapest Bowers and Wilkins speakers that they make. They're $700 for the pair. I actually was lent these from a company local to me for review. I'm going to put their website down in the description. If you do plan on getting a pair, I'd appreciate it if you give their website a look and order some from them. So I'm going to talk about the aesthetics and the build quality first. They've got this nice metal tweeter with a mesh grill over it, which seems pretty sturdy, and then the 5¼ inch woofer, and then their name down there in silver, which looks really nice. It doesn't stand out at you, but it just looks pretty classy. They've got these magnetic grills as well. Once again, their name on it. Just magnets, so it goes on and off pretty easily. And if you need to blend into a room or anything like that, this would be a good option. And if you do have the magnetic grills on, they pretty much just look like a black box, but they do have this nice line going around the front baffle to add a little bit of depth to it. They sound about like what you'd expect for a speaker at this price point. They're not solid, but they've definitely got some reinforcement on the inside. Moving around to the back, they've got the port with the golf ball stippling on it, and then the 5-way binding posts. In case you want to, there's 4 of them in case you want to buy amp or buy wire or what have you. And then there's the name, the information about the speaker down there. So I'm going to talk about the sound quality, starting at the top and then moving down. So with the tweeter first, it's an aluminum tweeter, and it is a very good aluminum tweeter. It's got very fast starting and stopping, so the start and the decay is very quick, and it's really good for stuff like guitars or cymbals, anything like that. However, it is tipped up a little bit. These seem to have a bit of a V-shaped curve. So anything up pretty high is gonna be a little bit much. If you're one of those people that seems to get fatigued by metal domes, you might wanna take a listen to these in person before you buy them because it might be too much for you. But if you're not one of those people, you get rewarded pretty well with all the detail that these are able to produce, especially at this price point. Moving down a little bit, female vocals would be the next thing I wanna look at. They are tonally accurate, so if you listen to Diana Krall or Nora Jones or Mary Webb, anyone like that, they've got a really good tone and it sounds really good, but unfortunately they don't have the weight behind them. It's a little bit thin. Like I said, they've got a V-shaped curve, so the top is boosted and the bass seems to be a little bit boosted. So the mid-range where the female vocals fall is the part that's thin there. Moving down a little bit more with male vocals, so let's say you listen to Frank Sinatra. He's got a very pronounced voice and it shows up very well in these. It's got a lot of weight behind it. Dean Martin is one of my favorite male singers, and a lot of his songs are really well recorded, and with these speakers it really shows. He's got a lot of weight and the texture is all there for that. And stuff like saxophones or trumpets or piano in that same region all sounds very good as well. Moving down a little bit further to where there's like kick drums and lower bass notes, bass guitars, that section is a little bit weird. So they've got a lot of punch. So if you listen to, let's say, Hotel California by the Eagles, the kick drum, even if you got them quiet, like I was using them at my desk, it feels like you're getting hit in the chest when he hits the kick drum, which is good. However, they do lack a bit of that texture. So let's say there's a bass guitar playing. You can tell it's a bass guitar, you can tell it's different notes from each other, but it lacks the texture and just the detail that a bass guitar would have. Same thing goes with very low saxophone notes or piano or anything like that. Even lower from there, it says these get down to 52 hertz on the website. I was playing around with a frequency tone generator, and in my room, it seemed like they hit 48 hertz before they started to fall off, which is pretty good for a speaker of this size. They're not that deep, and they're pretty good in the bass department. I actually didn't bother using them with a sub. I used them at my desk for the most part, and it's really hard to get a sub to integrate. There's a sub on the ground, speakers up here, you have to get them in phase. Sometimes it can be quite difficult to do that. I didn't actually bother. I didn't feel like I was missing enough of the music to have to do that. Yeah, I like that a lot. But moving on to use cases, so I said I use them at my desk a lot, and I feel like at close range they're pretty good. They don't take up a lot of room. They actually come with these foam base ports, so if you want to plug, or foam base plugs, sorry, port plugs, sorry. If you want to plug that, you can do that. The middle of it actually comes out in case you want to half plug it or whatever. And I actually stuffed socks in mine, but you know, that works too. They sounded really good. I had them about 5 inches from the wall at my desk, and it was great. I did move them to one of my listening setups for a while too, at about 5 feet away from me, and I think that was perfect. They really opened up the soundstage, opened up quite a bit at that range, and putting a little bit more power into them helped the dynamics a little bit, and they sounded pretty good. Speaking of the dynamics, they're not super good at that, 84 dB, so if you want to make them louder, you will have to use a more powerful amp. However, I was just saying, using them about 5 feet from me, they sounded pretty good. I have another listening setup where they were about 8 or 9 feet from me, and unfortunately they just weren't doing it for me there. Pushing them to the level of volume, pushing them to a normal volume there was fine, but if I wanted to turn up some music and really rock out, they weren't able to do that at that distance. The 5 1/4 woofer couldn't do it. The tweeter was a little bit too sharp. It just wasn't working out. I would recommend them for a bit of a closer setup. Like I said, like my 4 or 5 feet away setup or on a desk. So that's the gist about these. I get why Bowers and Wilkins is such a popular brand. They do a lot of things really well. The detail retrieval up top is fantastic, especially at this price point. The bass on these, for the size and the size driver that they have and the price, that's a really good amount of bass that comes from these. And just the overall build quality is really solid. They look nice. You can put them in any room. They come in black and white, so I'm sure you could find a way to integrate them into your room. But yeah, these are the first Bowers and Wilkins speakers I've had in my house, and I understand why a lot of people like them and why they're such a big company. Anyways, that wraps up the review. Like I said, I did get these from a company near me. I'm gonna put the link down in the description. If you would give them a call and order a pair from them, if you're gonna be doing that, I would appreciate it. I'm also gonna link to my full Reddit review down there as well. So that wraps it up. Thank you for watching.